Hook first 15 seconds. Everyone who drives through that part of Route 66 at night says the same thing. You see a girl standing on the side of the road, alone, barefoot, wearing a white dress. She asks for a ride to a place that no longer exists. And if you take her there, you never see the road the same way again. My name is Daniel Carter. And what I'm about to tell you happened 3 years ago, on a cold October night, somewhere along Route 66 in Arizona. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't tired, and I know exactly what I saw. But sometimes, I wish I didn't. The story begins, at the time, I was working as a delivery driver for a small shipping company in Flagstaff. Most of my deliveries were boring. Packages, documents, sometimes expensive electronics. But that night was different. My boss called me at around 9 p.m. He said there was an urgent package that had to reach a small town about 2 hours away. The place was called Ashwood. I had never heard of it before, but the pay for late-night deliveries was good, so I agreed. The drive the road was mostly empty.
Yes.
Long stretches of desert, occasional gas stations, and miles of darkness. If you've ever driven through Arizona at night, you know what I mean. The desert feels too quiet, too empty. Around midnight, I noticed something strange. My GPS started glitching. The map kept rerouting. Signal bars kept disappearing. Eventually, the GPS screen just froze. Right in the middle of nowhere, the girl on the road, that's when I saw her. Standing under a flickering streetlight. A girl, maybe early 20s, white dress, long dark hair, barefoot at first. I thought she might be injured, so I slowed down, rolled down the window. "Hey, are you okay?" She didn't answer immediately. She just stared at me, and she said something that still gives me chills. She asked, "Are you going to Ashwood?" My heart skipped. That was exactly where I was headed. The ride. I told her yes. She asked if I could give her a ride. Now, normally I wouldn't pick up strangers, but she looked cold and scared, so I unlocked the passenger door. She got in. The car instantly felt colder, like someone opened a freezer inside the cabin, but I ignored it. The conversation for a few minutes. She didn't say anything, just stared out the window. Finally, I asked her, "Do you live in Ashwood?" She nodded slowly. "My family does." Something about her voice sounded distant, like she was talking from far away. I tried to make small talk, but every answer she gave was short, quiet, almost whispering. The warning about 20 minutes later, she suddenly said, "Slow down." There was nothing on the road. No cars, no animals, nothing. I asked why. She said, "There's a turn coming." But my GPS was still frozen, and I couldn't see any road signs. Still, I slowed down, and just a few seconds later, a dirt road appeared out of the darkness. If I hadn't slowed down, I would have completely missed it. Something feels wrong. We turned onto the dirt road. Trees started appearing, thick ones, the kind that blocked the moonlight. My headlights barely lit the path ahead. That's when I noticed something strange. In the rearview mirror, her reflection looked wrong. For a split second, it looked like her eyes were completely black. The town. After another 10 minutes, we reached a small town, or at least, what used to be one. Every building was abandoned. Windows broken, doors hanging open, streetlights dead. It looked like nobody had lived there for decades. I stopped the car. "Is this Ashwood?" She nodded. "Yes, the truth." Then she pointed toward an old house at the end of the street. "That's mine." But something felt very wrong. The house was burned, half collapsed, covered in vines. I looked back at her. "Are you sure someone lives here?" She turned toward me slowly and said something that made my stomach drop. It did. The story she began explaining. 30 years ago, Ashwood was a small mining town. Families lived here. Children played in the streets. But one night, there was a fire. It started in the mine, spread through the town. Most people escaped, but some didn't, including her family. The realization. I felt a cold wave run through my body. I asked the question I didn't want to ask. "How old are you?" She looked at me, smiled slightly, and said I was 22. The disappearance. I turned the car toward her, but the passenger seat was empty, completely empty. The door was still closed, but she was gone. The final discovery. My heart was pounding. I grabbed the package from the back seat, looked at the delivery label. The address read, 142 Ashwood Lane, the same burned house she pointed to. But the name on the package made my blood freeze. It said Emily Harper. I looked toward the broken house again. And in the doorway, for just a second, I saw her. Standing there watching me, and Dean, I left the package on the porch, got in my car, and drove away as fast as I could. When I returned to Flagstaff, I searched online for Ashwood, and what I found confirmed everything. Ashwood burned down 32 years ago in a mining fire. 9 people died. One of them was a 22-year-old woman named Emily Harper. Final line perfect for YouTube horror ending, so if you're ever driving along Route 66 late at night and you see a girl in a white dress standing under a streetlight, don't stop, because she might ask you for a ride. If she does, you might end up delivering a package to someone who died 30 years ago.